Hey guys, Cam McClellan.
Al Lewison.
Welcome to today's Wealth WOD.
Screen's out of whack.
So if we stand like this, should be good. Setbacks is probably the biggest one you're going to come across. So I want to talk about setbacks and some of the setbacks we had in the early days. And as Al said, he just asked before and he said, honestly, I don't see myself any different to anyone else. Got mates that have got money, mates that haven't got money, and Al said, what's the difference? Why have we done well? As opposed to people who still great at general life, but just financially don't acquire that wealth. And I said, the one thing is that we absorb setbacks. We love a setback.
We'll smash through any roadblock put in front of us.
So I started going, all right, so in the early days, what was it that some of the big ones that we came up against, which mere mortal man would go back to general life and think it's all too hard. So we talked before about to buy a property probably takes you about 200 hours. And that 200 hours includes taking on these setbacks and going through and overcoming them. So a couple of setbacks that knocked me around in the early days. So my very first property that I went to purchase, early days the bank had been promoting credit cards to me. So they talked me into having a credit card and thought fantastic a credit card, and I think my credit card was $2,000 or $1,500. It was a big credit card back in the day. Huge, big numbers. So the bank had been promoting, Bank of Melbourne, had been promoting, not to mention any banks, Bank of Melbourne, been promoting this credit card to me. I went and signed my contract, purchased my first property, went to the broker and they said, you can't have that while you've got a credit card, because the bank will deem that to be able to be maxed out and therefore your debt service ratio is reduced and you can't have that loan. Gone right. So really fast, I had to make sure I didn't lose the property, I had to scrounge around and hock off a few things to pay off that credit card and apply again for my loan. So I overcame it. Most people would have gone, all right, I've got a credit card, the bank have said no, I'll just let the contract fall over and I'll worry about it in 6 months' time, and then they never will. That's the only difference between Al and myself. Another quick one, once I got to third or fourth property, I'd purchased the latest model SS Ute back in the day, such a bogan. I think the Ute was probably valued at twice what my annual salary was. So
it's a nice Ute though.
It's a nice Ute. So once again, go to the bank to get next property loan, and they say debt to service ratio is not adequate. So what I did, same deal. I went and sold that expensive Ute, and I went and drove a 10-year-old holding a claim. And all my mates were going, what are you doing? You've just gone from this amazing car, which everyone's drooling over, to this absolute piece of crap, driving that around. Well, with the money I saved on repayments, I could hold another 3 or 4 properties. It was huge money back then, difference. Yep. So they're the sort of sacrifices you have to make, and nothing can't be done. Literally, when it comes to getting finance or getting a property, if there's something in your way, we see this just something you need to skip over.
I'd say you need to expect things to get in the way. It's how you deal with the things in the way that make the difference.
Perfect, yeah, spot on.
Just example, similar to Cam's, another one people get a lot of is valuation issues are a big problem. So,
that's your one.
Even for us recently, I'm moving from bank to bank. I sent a property that I said was valued at 470 across the bank. Can you please get it valued? Val came back at 410. It's a big buffer, big difference. I said to the bank, incorrect, let's challenge the val. Challenge the val, no good. I said, let's engage another valuer because I don't believe it still. Next valuer came back 470. Same house, different week, nothing's changed.
Yeah.
The person valued it changed. So that could have potentially been a major setback if you're a first time investor, but I challenged it and I went through a different angle and I pushed forward, making sure that the outcome I needed to achieve was achieved. So I guess what the point we're making, you guys, is at some point there's going to be something along your journey, and if you're a first-time investor, it might be that, like Cam said, you got a credit card, you can't get your finance. It might be that the first offer you put in on a place gets knocked back. It might be, and what most people do at that point is they just retreat and go, well,
go back into day-to-day life.
That's a sign. That's a sign I shouldn't be doing it. I'll do it again later on, and later on never comes around.
Yeah.
So bash down the barriers, plough forward, and find a way to make it happen. Because if you really want it to, it's going to.
Cheers, guys.